Hello everyone, welcome to Accolite Digital Connect, our thought leadership series on the latest in domain and tech. Today, we are going to be speaking about a very interesting topic, 6G, the sixth generation of wireless technology. Now, with the ever-increasing pace of technology, operators and equipment vendors have already envisioned the need for the next level of network and capability adoption with 6G. Given its potential, 6G is expected to foster innovation in the fields that haven't been tapped into yet. From ultra-personalization to a drastic reduction of new service launches, it will bring in new possibilities for telecom operators, service providers, and OEMs alike. In this session, we'll take you through the evolution of this new generation of mobile communication, an overview of the 5G use cases, the next steps with 6G, and the technological impact of the cross-industry ecosystem, which we can expect as a part of the upcoming digital evolution. I would like to introduce now the two speakers for today's session. Sanil Jain is a principal consultant at the Telecom and Media Business Unit. He has over 10 years of experience with focus on domain consulting, product management, application and solution design. He has contributed to multiple digital transformation projects support across domains, supporting CRM catalog, integration, UI, UX, and more. He is also specializing in creating solutions that are aligned with industry standard process or data frameworks and ODA, which is the Open Digital Architecture. My other speaker for today is Mitrajit Pani. Mitrajit is a principal consultant and has over 15 years of experience in the telecom industry, working in domain consulting roles for the past 11 years. He too is a seasoned BA and a designer with thorough knowledge of OSS BSS applications and has handled multiple digital transformation products, new product launches, and migration activities for CSPs globally. Without much ado, I'd like to now pass on to Sanil. Sanil?
Yeah, thank you so much, Srikanth. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who has joined us from the different parts of the world. I hope I'm audible and visible as well. As Srikanth has mentioned it very well, that we are in an era where we are moving towards sixth generation of mobile communication, and it is not only the need right now, but it's an only option that we have, that we need to start thinking about the sixth generation of mobile communication, because as we are looking here right now, that as we see the evolution of the telecom journey till now, the evolution of mobile communication that we have observed till now, which started right from 1980s and which has came to the next 40 years. Now we are sitting here and into fifth generation of mobile communication, which is capable of supporting the bandwidth range up to 1 to 10 Gbps of speed. With this fifth generation of mobile communication, we are able to achieve a lot many use cases which would not have been possible otherwise with the previous generations. We are now able to have ultra high definition video. We have smart IoTs, we have autonomous vehicles, we have satellite, we have a lot of communication options available in the remote areas as well. So a lot has been made possible with this evolution that we had till now. But if you look at the trend that we see in the previous generation of communication, it has been almost 10 years that we envision a new, or we encounter a new generation of mobile communication. And looking at the fifth generation of mobile communication being started in many parts of the world in 2020, we can expect the launch of sixth generation of mobile communication somewhere around 2025 or some between 2025 to 2030, depending on the research and the analysis where it takes. And the anticipated bandwidth that is expected to be evolved as part of 6G is around 1 Tbps. And it will this high amount of bandwidth and capacity will open up a lot many doors which were closed till now, which were unable to explore and create new innovations just because of this constraint that we had. I think this change that 6G is going to bring in will open up very much of new opportunities going forward. Also, the good news over here is that recently India has also entered into the league of the telecom operators who are capable of supporting fifth generation of mobile communication, and we are expecting the commercial launches to be happening in the by the end of this year or so. So that's a good part. So I think it's a very good time for every one of us to look into the sixth generation of mobile communication now. Moving on. Uh, we all know that sixth generation is a successor of fifth generation of mobile communication, but what makes it different? It's not the only bandwidth that is increasing as part of sixth generation of mobile communication, but there are a lot many more parameters and features that are going to be added up, which were not available as part of fifth generation or any other previous generation of mobile communication till now. So let's say, for example, if we see with the coming up of sixth generation mobile communication, we'll be able to support around 100 million equipments or devices per square kilometer, which is a huge count considering the number of sensors that are going to be introduced every passing day. Another thing that we can think about is the peak data rate and the effective data rate is going to increase to many folds from what we have right now. We can also see the latency that we used to have around 10 milliseconds by now is reduced to around 1 millisecond, which is a huge leap in the segment of many services which are not able to succeed because of the latency in the networks. So there are a lot many parameters in which 6G oversees 5G, and this all is being possible just because sixth generation of mobile communication will be using terahertz communication for communication purposes, and this terahertz communication will be capable of carrying or transporting a huge amount of data with itself. So this all is possible because of the use of terahertz frequency. And this will also help us in reducing the latency to a very bare minimum. So this is one point that we see. Moving on to the next one that we have. We all know that the fifth generation of mobile communication had three main building blocks, which were NS mobile broadband, ultra reliable, low latency communication, and the massive machine-to-machine communication. These three building blocks has now been transformed into 6 new building blocks that will form the 6 new KPIs of sixth generation. This will not only expand the existing KPIs, but will also introduce certain new KPIs that we have. We'll be having mobility that is expected to increase from to have a network speed capable to support a moving object that is from around 500 kilometers per hour to now will be able to support around 1000 kilometers per hour speed. We'll be having precision till the level of millimeters. We'll be having the coverage, which will be able to cover the entire Earth. Will be having a 3-dimensional communication from the 2-dimensional communication that we had in the earlier generations of mobile communication. So there's a lot more and a lot many things that we can expect as part of fifth generation of mobile communication. As a part of sixth generation of mobile communication coming into play. Moving on. With this technical KPIs, we also have certain business KPIs that needs to be looked into. So for an end user, the objective is to provide high-end user data rates, which is an obvious thing that is an obvious expectation from sixth generation of mobile communication. Moving on, the expectation is that the services which 6G is going to support, the application which 6G is going to support, will require ultra high reliability and zero downtime, almost zero downtime, because these services will be human-centric services, and any delay or any issues in the network or transfer of data from one place to another might lead to life and death threats even. So we need to be very cautious of providing this network, that the network that we are going to provide is having a very low latency, plus it should be very reliable network in terms of downtime and the services. And this all will be made possible with the help of self-healing networks, which are capable to help heal themselves and adapt themselves depending on the needs of the applications or the usage where this network is being utilized. So this all are a few of the KPIs. And then moving on, then we need to push up the computing logic to the utmost edge as possible, so that the latency can be reduced to the maximum, to the minimum, and we will be able to get results as early as possible, and we avoid server to edge communication as much as we can. Next, that we factor that is very important for any business for 6G to be as part of their business proposal is the security. So as I mentioned that there will be a lot many mission critical applications or use cases which will be involved in sixth generation. So it becomes a very important part that the network component is never compromised, it is never hacked, it is never laid down, or any kind of glitch can lead to a very bad consequences. So that's the reason security also plays a very important role. And the next important point that we have is Internet of Everything. So basically, right now in the fifth generation, we are able to support Internet of Things. So basically, we have things and networks talking to each other. But with 6G coming into play, we'll be having people, process, and data also joining in things together to be a form connected network and to able to support the applications that are being used that will be using sixth generation of mobile communication. So these are the few KPIs that we might be required by any CSP or any telecom operator to look into when they are planning to launch 6G services. Moving on, we got to understand that, okay, what is sixth generation of mobile communication and how is it different from fifth generation of mobile communication? I think now it's time to understand what are the applications that will be able to achieve using this sixth generation of mobile communication. So what we have done over here is we have tried to capture few high-level applications that will be impacted. So these are not only the applications, these are the industries that will be impacted with the launch of sixth generation of mobile communication that will be taking them to a new level of functionalities, new level of services that they're providing right now. So beginning from the healthcare industry, we'll be having a lot many changes that we can expect. We'll be having telemedicine, we'll be having tele-remote surgeries, and remote patient monitoring, and a lot many things that we can expect going to the next level as part of 6G. Also, we'll be having a complete transformation for an automotive industry in which we will be introducing autonomous vehicles, we'll be having unmanned aerial vehicles, and the fleet management system, and a lot many new applications that will be introduced as part of sixth generation getting launched. Another application that we can see over here is the industries, the manufacturing industries, and the all type of industries will be looking into a new revolution with the launch of 6G, in which they will be getting new robotics application, new configuration of robotics, and a lot many new applications, designing the new products, and reducing the time to market, and a lot many things will be achievable using once 6G gets launched. So, and in the agriculture segment, we also see a drastic change in which we'll be using drones for agriculture purposes, we'll be using weather forecasting, and a lot many applications that will come out once 6G gets launched. Another very big thing that we can see and or we can expect as part of once 6G get launched is the immersiveness of experiences that we have. So right now we have augmented virtual reality in play with the fifth generation of mobile communication. We have mixed reality also coming into picture, but with the launch of 6G, we will be going into another level of reality, which will be called as extended reality, which will be a completely immersive experience. And it will also give as an option for an holographic communication between different places, so that we'll be getting 3D images of for the communication and for all other purposes. This application will also give rise to another very important part, which is the digital twin or digital replica, which will be a connecting point between the digital world and the physical world that we have right now. So it will give us an opportunity to connect or replicate the physical things into the digital world, and to not only view them in the digital environment, but will also be able to identify the problems, the root causes, the places which are very remote to identify, which might require a lot of efforts to find out the problem, root causes. That all can be done once we have this digital twin and replica getting into play with 6G. So what we have done as part of this research is that we have picked up 3 industries, and we have tried to move on to the next level of analysis, in which we try to bridge up the gap between what we have right now to what we expect as part of 6G being launched. So we have picked up 3 industries right now. we have picked up the healthcare industry, we have picked up automotive industry, and we have picked up manufacturing industry for our next level of analysis. So that will be in the next slide. So looking at the healthcare industry, we have a lot many things already which are supported as part of 5G. So we have improved whole healthcare system already there. We have remote patient monitoring, remote telesurgery, remote surgery support, and all these things are already available and being implemented as part of 5th generation. But with the launch of 6th generation, we will be able to do remote surgeries using very high precision robots, and we will be able to connect all the telemedicine or medical equipment so that they will be helpful in providing real-time data and effective decision making for doctors in the very critical situations. And also we'll be able to identify the exact health condition of any patient, to identify the root cause and the problem, and then providing the exact medicine for the resolution of that problem. In spite of what we do right today, it's like kind of guessing and determining on the basis of reports that what is it that the problem a human body can have. So it will be taking us to the next level of healthcare industry. The next industry that we talked about, we detailed out about, is the transportation industry, in which right now we already have vehicle to infrastructure and vehicle to vehicle communication going on in place. We already have this from many years now. But with the launch of 6th generation, we are expecting it going to the next level, which is vehicle to everything communication, in which we will be introducing the communication with people, network, places, object, and all those things, which will give birth to the application of autonomous driving and completely driverless cars, which does not require any kind of human intervention at all. And we'll also be having few applications like unmanned aerial vehicles coming into picture, which will be having n number of applications, right from inspection, right from defense applications, right from transportation, right from package delivery. A lot many things could be made possible using this kind of applications. And also a very big change that we can observe in the fleet management system, in the containers, the huge transportation industry that we have, that will be completely transformed once we have 6G getting launched. So this is about automotive industry. Moving on, let's talk about the manufacturing industry, in which we have already have robots working into place. So, but the robots that we have in the current industries are highly configurable, but they require a lot of efforts in configuring them. Plus, they require certain human intervention as well. And also with the 5th generation, we have a lot many connected machineries which are able to connect to each other, perform certain items together, and also can raise alarms in case if there is any issue observed. Plus, we also have an option of virtual manufacturing, in which we are able to create objects which are not actually created in the real world, and we can create various prototypes which require a lot of efforts in the real world. So all those things are being done today. But with the launch of 6G, we will be able to have a configurable product lines. We'll be able to configure the robots for the next set of applications, or the next set of actions that they need to be performing. And also we'll be having real-time problem solving with the help of digital twin applications that we talked earlier. So all of this huge transformations can be made possible if we have 6G getting launched. Moving on to the next one, I think we get to understand that what are the applications that 6G can give us. But the another question that arises is, how are we able to achieve this? What is the transformation, or what is it that is required to achieve this? So the next thing that we need to understand is the biggest backbone for 6th generation of mobile communication is the network, the backend network that is going to be there. And the 6G expectation is that the coverage, the radio waves are expected to cover the entire planet altogether. It should consist of all the aerial objects. It consists of the remote locations that we have right now, desert, sea, undersea, forest, any kind of areas. The complete Earth needs to be covered under the network, so that we'll be able to provide 6th generation of services and the applications that we talked about. And to make that happen, the bare minimum requirement is that we need to integrate satellite and mobile communication together. And we need to have get this done as a prerequisite, because we need to have the support from all the network devices for an effective web of connectivity across the entire globe. And to achieve this, this may sound simple, but to achieve this, there are a lot many challenges that the industry is already facing, which is how do how will be handling the handoff processes, how we will be having the protocol matching, will be requiring any new protocols for communication between satellite and the terrestrial communication links, so kind of things. So there are a lot many challenges and things which we can observe or expect as part of this integration, which is required for sixth generation of mobile communication. Another thing that we'll like to look forward is the technical evolution that is required for achieving sixth generation of mobile communication or launching the services. So as we discussed, it will be requiring a large number of the equipments and the devices and the sensors which are going to be involved in sixth generation of communication. And hence, we need to establish an ultra dense network to support this kind of communication with a very high speed between different equipments and different devices at the same time, with very low latency and very high reliability. And the next thing that we need to do is the spectrum allocation. So we already have a spectrum allocation mechanism with the current fifth generation also, but it needs to be taken up to the next level with sixth generation getting launched, because it is going to be a very high bandwidth spectrum, and to allocate it, we require certain set of intelligence in the spectrum allocation technique, so that we be able to provide correct set of spectrum to the correct set of services, and can avoid any kind of issues just because of the network unavailability. Next, we talk about the coverage expansion, which we just talked in the previous slide, that we need to integrate terrestrial and mobile, terrestrial and satellite communication together. Next, we need to understand that the current architecture works on cell architecture, in which we have cell architecture in place, but the sixth generation of mobile communication will require cell-less architecture, and we will be requiring technologies like reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, which will be able to communicate and build a network that can talk to each other and then can provide services to very remote places as well. And last but not the least, we need to have certain added capabilities to the network. We need to bring in intelligence to not only the equipments that we use, we need to bring it in the processes and the services and the kind of offerings that we provide. We need to bring in intelligence in almost all of them using AI, ML, and deep learning. So all those things are a must required for sixth generation of communication. Moving on, for the technology enablement part, I'll request Mitrajit Pani to take it over.
Yeah, thank you, Sanil, for that. Hello, everyone. Without taking much, I'll continue with this technology enablement. So here, what we are going to focus on is what exactly 6G mean for a service integrator or a digital partner, for a CSP. What are the aspects that we need to focus on? The modules that it impacts. As you can see, all the bubbles are a different module, a segment on its own. So it has a huge impact, a vast impact across the domain, across the field that you are working. So if I just quickly touch upon all the aspects, we are talking about split computing. How are we going to implement our edge nodes? How are we going to split the computing closer to the nodes and offload the servers, considering the huge amount of data that we have? Next one, if I talk about how are this terahertz communication is going to be covered. Like Sanil said, we have to cover around the globe. We have to explore all the options, aspects. We have to use satellites, space, sea, and undersea as well, so nothing gets skipped. Next one is core network design. Yes, as 6G will take more shape, and then we have to implement it into the network implementations. How are we going to design it? How are we going to implement it? Is going to be the key essence. Next one would be ML and AI. With this huge number of data, huge number of devices that we have been talking about. I mean, just imagine 100 million devices within a square kilometer. So, and every device talking to each other. What's the data scale that we are looking at? And we definitely need faster layers, artificial intelligence to process that data for us and then act on it accordingly. Then last one, next gen solutions. That's where the implementation would come in. We have to do more data analytics. We have to work on that. We have to predict traffics and then build all our logic around it. How do we maintain? How do we monitor? Everything falls down onto running that network that comes up for 6G. Overall, yeah, quite a few piece of work, but let's focus on some specific parts as we going forward. Yeah, as we go forward. Now on this one, now we have been talking about the business aspect, how the ecosystem comes up, what are the use cases that we saw in the previous slides, but how do we achieve it from implementation point of view for a CSV. So if we just focus, first one would be partner management. How are we going to integrate with partners? Because right now telcos or CSPs are not going to work individually. It's more about building ecosystem, working with a healthcare industry, automobile industry, or a manufacturing industry. All that is going to come up. So with that, the integration and the partner management is going to be the essence. How are we going to build that? That's technically. And if I look at the second side, commercially also. So far we talk about bundles, but yeah, when we talk about bundles, what comes up is it's a triple play, it's a quad play, or it's a telco with a media. I get a Netflix subscription. Those kind of bundles pops up, but we don't think about a bundle with a healthcare program or a industry. Or when I talk about a enterprise business, you can have an industry and an enterprise business running together. So those kind of offerings would take more shape. It will management also is going to be a key aspect for 6G to get into the market. And then comes the next one, DevOps. So if you have joined our previous website webinar that we did, it was purely focused on DevOps because it is of essence. It will enable us to go to market faster. Okay, so we have to have that considering the timelines that we see. So if I talk about India, like Sanil said, we have our 5G auction going on as we speak. I think we are getting the results by first week of August. And then I read somewhere that it's going to be launched in September or October. So that's the strict timeline that we are looking at. Okay, so how do we achieve that? With 6G, it might be just few days, yeah, before we get everything ready. So DevOps is going to be key. So I'll not touch upon more upon that one. Analytics, like I said, it is about handling more data, making more decisions, and be precise about that decision, what AI are going to take, because it is a life or death situation, like Sanil said previously. Okay, so there has to be a lot of focus, a lot of data handling, a lot of intelligence to be built for this layer. Last but not the least is the security aspect. Now, as we are moving everything out to open APIs, we are putting everything onto a public cloud. Security is also a very, very key aspect that has to be taken care of. Yeah, Sanil, if we can go to the next one, please. Now, on this one, what exactly we need to do? So we saw how the business transformation, how the business roadmap looks like, what are the aspects that they focus, but what exactly does it mean? If I think about a implementation level, what kind of approach that we need to take? Like I said, okay, we are building an ecosystem. So a telco would be talking to other aspects, other domains, but every domain would have their own BSS systems. They might be talking on different set of data, different type of data. But now with this ecosystem coming up, we have to think about more containerized ecosystem. We may have a more standardized BSS applications following a standardized framework, or those open APIs will be more structured to help such kind of a ecosystem, yeah, to run smoother together. So that's where, if I think about the APIs, how do we build those metadata? How do we make that integration better with all the domains, other aspects, and all the functionalities that we are trying to leverage on? How do we make it more plug and play? If I see, okay, that's where the thought has to go, and then the application strategy has to be designed in that way. Third one, if I talk about, we have been talking about Internet of Things. Now we are talking about Internet of Everything. Okay, so like the numbers that I quoted, we are forcing a lot of machines talking to each other. So there will be a lot of data, and then those machines will have to have some level of understanding going forward. Either the machines will, or some new layer would come up, which will have to have some intelligence to give us the user experience that we are looking for. So to have that, yes, we need to have maybe different softwares or different test environments, different implementations that we have to think of. How can we go to market with those details? Last one, again, on to cloud. As we are using more on the public cloud, security is going to be the key essence. But then, yeah, there's no way, we have to go with cloud strategy because of the the KPIs that we have, security, cost, control, it all, we have to get it on cloud, but we have to think about the scalability, how it is going to change, how it is going to adapt so that we get the experience that we have. So that's how we can think about how the implementation takes more shape for 6G when it hits market. Yeah, Sunil, if we can just go to the next one. So if I just summarize what we have talked through is, yes, it is 6G is not just, a new generation coming up with more speed. In fact, it's bringing a more revenue generating opportunities for telcos. It is going to be more of a collaboration or partnership that we are going to see in future. The way we saw the amount of data, the amount of speed that we are talking about, it needs massive transformations to be done within the system so that all the data can be transferred. Every handshake is smooth and faster go to market. Again, touching upon the DevOps aspect that we said, it is going to be key. The first mover advantage will always be there, be the first one to launch, and then you get the advantage. And then last one is more scalable, future ready OSS BSS application. So the way we see so far, based on our experiences, we don't see that is scalable or faster enough to meet the needs of 6G. So that's where the thought has to go. Yeah. With that, yeah, I think that's our quick summary, our point of view, what we have on 6G. So I'll hand it over to Shrikant.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Mitrajit and Sanil. This was very useful information. I have two questions. Okay. We know that CSPs are moving very fast on the 5G roadmap, right? So what do you think they need to do, to quickly be on the 6G also?
Okay, I'll take that one. So for this one, what they need to do is work on this APIs. How are we going to build them, visualize the ecosystem, the way it will shape up. Okay, and then think around the work culture. It's not just a technological shift, it has to be a change in the approach also, how we see the business to go. Those will be the key aspect. Also, yeah, the networks and IT components, applications, that is definitely required to run it. But other than that, a change in thought process also would be required, Shrikant. I think you're speaking on mute, Shrikant.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mitrajit. Okay. The second one is a very wordy one. Okay. So, as SIs, what all factors or domains that need immediate attention or focus for successful partnerships with with telcos, right? If they were looking at launching 6G.
I'll take this one, Mithil. So basically, I think for the launch of 6th generation mobile communication, I think the main important factors that any telecom operator will require is to have a very reliable and a partner who can help them in various phases of launch of 6th generation mobile communication. As we saw that there are a lot many factors that needs to be taken care of, lot many consideration that needs to be done. So in this kind of scenario, we need a service integrators or a solution partner who can help us in building up the three main pillars that are very efficient and crucial for launching of any services, which requires not only the cloudification of the network. The other pillars that we can think about is digitization of the next best digital, that we will be able to have a very reliable and very effective customer experience and a very effective partner onboarding. So those kind of that's going to form one important pillar out of it. The third pillar that I can think about is the network modernization. So basically, as we talked earlier, that the network is going to be the backbone of 6G connectivity. So we need to have a partner who will be able to help the CSPs in achieving the network modernization and achieving the next generation of transformation that the network needs, not only moving it to the cloud, but also to optimizing and effectively providing the services and helping them quickly launch 6th generation mobile communication to the market. So that's what I can think on top of my head. Yeah, Shrikant.
Okay, good. Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Sanil and Mitrajit. And thank you everyone for attending this session. If you have any questions, please do drop it in the comment box. I will highly encourage you to please visit our telecom web pages on our website, which is accolite.com, to know more about our offerings. So thank you once again.